Hey guys, I'm Deepthi Desikan, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about how do I explain this concept to you guys. So if there are some products that didn't work out for you, I think I found an alternative for that. So it's like a didn't like this, then try this out kind of a video, like buy this, not that sort of a video. I don't know if I sprayed. Okay. Okay, so buy this, not that sort of a video. So this is not like a dupes video. I get called out a lot for saying dupes instead of dupes. There are two pronunciations for that word, but I'll get into that some other time. So yeah, it's not quite similar to that because these products are not similar. They are in fact a little better. So those are the products I'm going to be talking about. Most of these are products that are supposed to be drugstore products, like affordable products. Affordability is again very subjective, but I have products in different price range. And so in case you didn't like a certain product, you can try an alternative, and suppose if this side of it didn't work out for you, you can try this. So I have tried it out on my face as well. So this side is not to buy, and this side is buy this. That is my perspective. So these are products I do really like, but I feel like this side I just like it a little bit better, but it can work vice versa for you. You can treat this video however you want to. You don't really have to take my word just like that, because a lot of people get offended when I mention that, okay, this is something I don't really like, so try this out. They're like, how can you say that? How can you say that? Really? That product is amazing. It's a cult favorite for a reason. But this is my job, and I am here to help people who are looking out for help. Okay, so let's get started. The first one I'm going to be talking about are eyeshadow palettes. That's how I tried it out in today's video as well. So on this side of my face, so I have the Wet n Wild Rosé in the Air eyeshadow palette. This is a lot of people's favorite eyeshadow palette for a very good reason. It is quite affordable, and this was like some of the more affordable palettes that were launched in India that were actually performing, and even worldwide. Like most of the affordable palettes had no pigmentation, so this one was like a lot better than that. So this has this is a 10 pan eyeshadow palette. They have a couple of matte shades and shimmer shades in this. I have mentioned this so many times. I don't really like the shimmer shades because I feel like they don't really pack a punch. You can see it as well. Like I tried this red shade all over my eyelid. It is pretty pigmented. The matte shades are really nice, but I feel like they can do a little better. But the shimmer shades, nothing comes onto your eyelid. It's just like a very subtle sheen and a very subtle wash of color. Even if you wet it, not much of a difference. So that is my biggest problem with this palette, and I found something for like half the price of that, and you can find it on discount, and I feel like this is a lot better. This is the Mars I Belong in Your Purse eyeshadow palette. I'm not saying that this is the exact shade selection like that. They have a couple of different shade options in this. In my previous Mars try on haul, I have tried out another one in the variant Smoke It Up. So this one is Oozing Swagger. So this is what the palette looks like. It is a different color scheme, of course, but it comes with a nice mirror. The packaging feels really nice, and you're paying just half the price of this. And this is just like plastic, no mirror. This comes with a nice mirror, and the matte shades are really pigmented. I do really like the Smoke It Up variant a little bit better than this variant, but even this performs really well on the eye, and I have this one on this side. So to balance it out, I did apply this shimmer. Once I was done applying the shimmer from this, I just had to top it off because this shimmer was not doing it for me. So in this eyeshadow palette, I first took this shade as a transition shade, and then I tried building it up a little bit with this peachy orange shade, really nice, and then applied this one all over the lid and used this shimmer shade to create a halo sort of an effect. And again, this you can intensify it with wetting your brush, wetting your fingers, and then using it, and it would pack a punch. But in today's video I didn't wet it, and I still do really like it. There's no fallout, it doesn't blend into one another and fade away. So I feel like this is a really nice palette if you guys want to try out, as opposed to this one. And even if you're starting out in makeup, you can try out the Mars eyeshadow palette. They are really nice. Next up, let's talk about some eyebrow products. So this is the Wet n Wild Clear Brow and Lash Mascara. So this is something that you can use to set your eyebrows, like, you know, when the hair keeps moving around and it just falls down. down. So you can use this to set, and you can also use it to like curl your lashes and keep it in place. But it's a clear mascara, it doesn't have any tint to it. So a lot of people use this for their brows, and that's the reason I actually got it, mainly not for the lashes. But I feel like it's not as long lasting and it doesn't have a good hold. So I found a really good alternative and something that is quite cheap as well. This one is for $2.99, but this one was for half the price of that, or less than half the price. This is from Swiss Beauty. This is the gel mascara lash and brow. This is amazing. It actually holds the eyebrow hair in place. It has sort of like a sticky feel, but not for a long time, but it does hold it in place and it's not falling down as much. Now, don't judge me by the look of my eyebrows. I haven't shaped them in over a year, like threading. I've not done that at all because it's not safe to go to a salon and do all of that. So I'm not very comfortable. So this is what I do at home, and now it's out of hand and I don't know how to handle this situation. But this is the side that I do really like, and I feel like this is such a good price point for you guys to try out. You will be amazed. So next up, let's talk about primer. Actually, I did my primer way before my eyes, but I'm going to be talking about primer now. So this is a primer that a lot of people do really like. I'm not trashing it completely. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Face Primer. This is like a dewy primer that is supposed to add a little bit of a glow to your skin and a little bit of dewiness to your skin. So it is what I have on this side of my face, and I feel like the effect of this is not as long lasting, and I don't really like that it has sort of like a whitish tint sometimes. So I don't really see the sheen as much as I see a tint, but now it is a little bit better. Like, so this does add a little bit of sheen initially, but over time I feel like it just fades away and it's not as pretty looking on my face. And on this side I have something that is not in the consistency of this primer. This is a liquid primer. This is the Mars Hydra Glow Primer. This has a little bit of sheen to it, but no shimmer. So if I look at my skin up close, there is no shimmer at all to this. Nothing is clinging on to the dry patches on my face, nothing of that sort. So I really like how this primer is looking. It adds a really nice glow and the foundation goes onto it really good. So the foundation I have today, I will be talking about in just a bit. So it is sort of like a semi-matte kind of a foundation. So it's not giving in as much glow as I would like. But if I use like the PAC HD foundation or some other dewy foundation, I'm sure this is going to look a lot better. And this again is quite affordable. And let's move on to a color corrector. So this is the LA Girl Orange Color Corrector. A cult product. A lot of people around the world love this. I'm not denying that. And this used to not be my favorite color corrector because it's super pigmented. It's like orange. It's for people who have deeper skin tone than I am, more intense pigmentation and dark circles. But if you use it with a very light hand, you can get away. But the thing is, you don't really get the right squeeze out of it. So sometimes you just take a little too much product than expected. And mine, I think it's like on the verge of dying out on me because there's a lot of liquid that comes out and then the actual pigment is coming out. So it's like split inside, I guess. So I was just squeezing it as much as I could and I then got too much product, and so that's the reason my left side looks like I've applied a lot of product because yeah, I did squeeze out a little too much product, but that's not how I like to use this. I have to use it very sparingly, very careful because it's too orange. So if you are someone who wants to use an orange color corrector and you feel like, okay, this one I can never get away with it because you need a lot of product to just conceal the orange of the color corrector, and you feel like no matter what I do, I just can't get that orange to blend in, and it's just like an orange stark. So you're just using a lot of concealer on top of it, your foundation, and that will make your eye look a little bit cakey. I have something for you. It is an orange color corrector. I'm not recommending anything else. It is for people who want to use orange color corrector. This is from Mars. This is the Seal the Deal Conceal Concealer. So this is also an orange color corrector, but it has sort of like a salmon orange undertone to it. So what it does is that it doesn't look so stark and it's not very pigmented. So it's okay if your color corrector is not as pigmented because you do use a concealer on top of it, so you can get it to blend. But if it is too pigmented and stark orange is when it's going to create a hassle. So it's not as pigmented and not super orange. So I feel like it just works really well for my skin tone, and I can apply a teeny tiny bit, get it to blend because it's really creamy and nice, and just a little bit goes a long way, and I can use this one over that. So once I'm done with this, I don't think I will be repurchasing this because I have this concealer which works pretty similarly, and even the packaging is quite similar, and even the applicator is actually similar. And I'm not a very big fan of this applicator. I wish they give us something else, some kind of like a doe foot applicator or something, but it's pretty okay. And then to conceal. So this side I have the LA Girl Pro Conceal Concealer. This is a cult favorite product again, just like the color corrector. A lot of people love this, makeup artists love this. The shade range is amazing. So this concealer I do really like, but I am running out of this, and I wanted something that is a little bit more affordable that I can recommend to people who are on a budget. There are so many college students who watch my video. There are so many people who are on a budget in general because they don't really like to spend much on makeup, who want to have the luxury to repurchase a certain product. And this can be a little bit expensive for some people because, like I mentioned, again, the applicator is the same. You tend to squeeze out a lot more in the first time. That dries down in the tube and then you waste a little bit more. Not that the one I'm going to be recommending is anywhere different. So first I thought that the Insight HD Conceal is quite similar. But I do have to say this, that this does have pretty good coverage, and it's something that you have to build on. It's not like medium coverage in the first shot. You can build on it. But what I did is, like a fool, I picked up the shade Porcelain. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I saw the shade number 05 and immediately assumed that, okay, 05 meaning it should be darker, and I just picked this up. I didn't really read the shade name. So this is a little bit too light for my skin tone. So that is one of the reasons it's not able to mask the orange color corrector underneath. And so that is one thing, but I also feel like they don't really have a lot of shade options. So people who want shade options should definitely stick to the LA Girl Concealer, because these brands don't give us that. They don't give us the luxury to pick the shade we want, but they give us the price range. Yeah. And also something that is very, very similar. In fact, I do like this a tad bit more than the LA Girl Pro Conceal is the Mass Seal the Deal Concealer. This one, I got it in the shade, I think, 05. I'm not very sure. I will link it down below. And I love this concealer. I love the coverage it gives. Medium coverage. So creamy. Doesn't cake up underneath the eyes at all. And it doesn't really split underneath the eyes. It doesn't really fade away that easily. And it is, again, really affordable. So this is something I do really like. I just hope that they expand the shade range. Like, come on. The shade range in this is abysmal. But the product is really good. So if you are someone who fits in that shade category, I hate saying this, I hate saying that, like, if you are someone who fits in the shade category, pick this one up. But if you are someone who's really looking for an alternative that is quite affordable, this could be something that you would like to try out. But if you're like just super upset with the shade range, just stick to LA Girl, okay? You will find a shade for yourself in that, or you can also try out the PAC Take Cover Concealer. They do have pretty good shade range in this as well. Very similar to the LA Girl, just slightly lesser in terms of coverage. Very good. So I also have this as an alternative. The next one, what else did we use? Okay, let's move on to the foundation. So this one, this is the L'Oreal Infallible 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. A lot of people's favorite foundation, and for some reason I just assumed that this is not working for my skin. So I was just like, okay, this is not working for me. But what I did today is use a good moisturizer underneath it, and I did blend this foundation with a sponge, and I do actually really like how it looks on my skin. I like the coverage it's giving and everything. I think my only problem with this foundation was the shade. So I got this one in the shade Golden Sun. Yeah, 260 Golden Sun. The next shade up looked a little bit more pink, so that's the reason I picked up the shade Golden Sun, because a lot of people of my skin tone, that is NC42, were recommending this. But yeah, this is a good foundation, but it is 1,200 rupees, and if you can find it on a discount, great, pick that up. I have something that I would like to recommend to you, which I saw on their website, is cruelty free and vegan, because a lot of you guys want option for cruelty free products on my channel as well. So that's the reason I thought I'll include this one. This is the Daily Life Forever 52 Ultra Definition Liquid Foundation. That's the longest name I've ever heard. Daily Life Forever 52. Okay. So this one retails for around $7.99, and you can get it on a discount most of the times, but not for a great amount of discount, but for around 700 rupees. And I got this one in the shade Honey, which is FL014. Now, one thing I want to let you guys know, higher the shade number always doesn't mean the shades are darker. I just assumed that. But if you are around NC42, I think you should try out the shade FL004 or 008 or 7, something like that. Check out the brand's Instagram page or some other YouTuber for reference. But this shade Honey is a little bit too light for me. But one thing is, with this foundation, over time it does oxidize a teeny tiny bit and sort of matches my skin. I'm not saying it's the perfect match, but it does kind of blend into my skin with all the blush, concealer and everything done. So I would still prefer to get my right shade in this. But this foundation, you guys, I was so surprised with this. I love how this foundation looks on my skin. So the first time I tried it out, I didn't really moisturize my skin. I was just so excited to see if this shade matches me, and I just applied it, and it was a little bit too drying on my skin. So what I did is I applied a good layer of moisturizer, nicely packed it on like I've explained in all of my other videos, and then applied this with a sponge. I specifically like it with a sponge over a brush, both the foundations, and it looks really nice. It's not very dewy, but it's not super matte. It's somewhere in between, and this finish also reminds me of the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop foundation as well. Very similar, and it's really nice. So I would recommend this foundation for people with normal to combination skin type, like combination oily skin type, but not so much for people with very dry skin. But it looks really nice, like soft, amazing, and I love it. And especially if you get your right shade match, it would just photograph really well and look amazing, as opposed to the L'Oreal foundations that don't usually photograph that well for some reason. So this is a good option you guys can try out. But one thing you have to keep in mind, both the foundations do have a certain amount of fragrance, but this one does overpower the fragrance. And when you first apply it, you'll be like, what the, why is it so floral? Can be a little bit like nauseating and can give you a headache, but after a while you can't really smell it on your face. Like that now, I can't smell it on my face. And then another base product, this is the Nykaa BB cream, or BB creams in general, be it the Pond's one, the Garnier one. And if you're like, okay, I can't find a shade for myself in the BB cream, I don't really like the formula, I just want something a little bit better, I have something that just blew my mind away. This is the Color Bar 24-hour weightless liquid foundation. So this you get 25 ml. This retails for $9.95, but you can find this on discount most of the times. And the coverage that this gives me reminds me so much of like the Nykaa BB cream or any BB cream in general, which is a light medium coverage, and you can definitely build this up to a medium coverage as well. So you get the option of doing whatever you want to, whereas in a BB cream I think it's just pretty much light medium, light coverage, and you can't build it up further because it would just look a little bit too cakey on your skin, whereas this one doesn't do that, and you get a lot of shades in this. You get to pick out the right shade match for yourself, and this foundation you can use on a daily basis for your everyday makeup. If you're just running errands, if you start to go back to office, college, this would look really nice on your skin. I would recommend this foundation for pretty much all skin types. Probably if you do have oily skin, you have to set this with a really good powder, loose powder, or even the powder foundation from the same range would work really well for oily skin types, and that adds pretty good coverage as well. This would be a lot harder to repurchase because it is a little bit expensive, and even on a discount you can get it for like 700 change, but the formula is really good and it just looks really nice and skin likes. So if you are someone who's vested in the formula, you're like more interested in the formula than anything else, you can try this one out. Otherwise you can just stick to your BB cream if that works for you. Okay, let's move on to the next one, blush. So for blush, on this side I have the Dr. Earth Founce Red. Is that how you pronounce it? So this is a lip and cheek tint. I don't really like to use this so much as a lip tint because I don't find it to be very long lasting, and I don't find it to be like a really nice lip tint. Okay, it's kind of a little bit drying as well. So I thought I use this just for my cheek, and even on the cheek I feel like the formula is a little bit rigid, where you know, when you first apply it on your face, that initial application mark still remains and you can't really blend it with a sponge as much. Like you have to drag your sponge across your face as opposed to using a brush. So you can just use a brush like this, any kind of brush, and then blend it, and it will blend pretty well. But it is a little bit rigid for a blush. So I was just surfing on Amazon and I found this one that looked pretty similar. This is from the brand called Agate. This was for around $7.99. Again, not really affordable because it's said to be like a organic lip tint. I'm not very sure if it is, because this is another sort of like a marketing thing. A lot of brands include organic in it, but I just thought of comparing it to that in terms of the formula. So this I feel like is a little bit more creamier and blends really well, and a little goes a long way, and again you can build it up. So it's a buildable formula as opposed to something like this where even once you apply it, it is a little bit difficult to blend it off, though the shades are a little bit too different. Like this is a deep red shade and this is like a proper orange toned red shade. On the face they are pretty much the same. Like I have two different blush shades. Can you even make it out? No, right? So I would recommend this one over the Daughter Earth. If you are an ardent lover of Daughter Earth, you can by all means just stick to that. I do get tempted to buy some of the other shades as well because they have a really good shade range, very tempting, and also I think they have a very subtle natural looking highlighter which I will still try, but alternative. Next up, I'm going to be talking about a highlighter. So if you guys remember this in my videos from the past, like if you remember this, you are an OG subscriber because I have mentioned this really long time ago. This is the Australis High Definition Highlife powder. This is a highlighting powder. Australis is not available in India anymore, I'm guessing, because I can't see it anywhere. So this was recommended as a very natural looking highlighter, something that is very, very subtle. It's what I have on this side of my face, but it can be a tad bit light for certain skin tones. It can be a little bit silver looking on certain skin tones and a little bit too dry for certain people. Like the texture of this can be a little bit too dry, and it is quite pricey. It's not really affordable. So you can try out another one that is from the affordable range. This is the Miss Claire Strobing powder. This is in the shade number 05. They are very, very similar in terms of the formula, and this one is a little bit more subtle, the Miss Claire one, and it doesn't really have like very stark shimmer particles. It does contain certain amount of shimmer particles, but you can't really see it. You have to come really, really close, and even then you can't really see the shimmer particles, you guys. I just love the formula of this, and it's sort of like a setting powder, like a matte powder with certain amount of sheen to it. That's how it is. So it can be a little bit drying. If you have a lot of dry patches on your skin, it will cling on to it. But if you don't really have any of that, it will look really nice. So rather than just taking a thick brush and applying it, I would recommend applying it with a more wispy brush like this, that where the bristles are not that densely packed, and that way it gives you like a nice subtle wash of color on your face. And also you can take a damp sponge and apply this, and it would look a lot more skin-like, a lot more beautiful, and a really nice highlighter. So if you are someone who's tired of like very blink highlighters like the Maybelline Master Chrome highlighter, which can be a little bit too intense, or even the Wet n Wild highlighter is not subtle enough for you, you can try out the Miss Claire one. They do have a couple of different shades for you to try out, so you can definitely try this out. Next, let's move on to the Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask. You guys know my thoughts on this. I'm not a very big fan of this, but it's okay. Like I can use it before I'm applying a lipstick for a film on my lips, and then when I'm going to apply my lipstick, I just take it off. So I found something that is a little bit more cheaper. This is from the brand called Ikai Organic. This is a brand by Lotus Herbals itself, and it is a lip sleeping mask. Again, very similar, just a little bit more thick. I have to tell you guys that. Like this one is a little bit more creamier than this one. So this is a little bit more on the thicker side and a little bit more fragrant. So this smells like Boomer. If you remember Boomer, yeah, this is how it smells. So if you're not a very big fan of those kind of scents, I'm not sure if you would like this. But I feel like the performance of this is very, very similar to the Laneige one. You guys know that sometimes it works for my lips when it's not super dry, and sometimes it just dries my lips out. Same goes with both. I do feel like this is a little bit more hydrating. But I want to draw your attention, your undivided attention, to something else that has been working for my lips. This is the Mars Lip Sleeping Mask. Now I'm not very sure about the price. This arrived in my mail and I just tried it out, and it is the most beautiful lip sleeping mask. It has a different kind of texture, consistency, and everything is a little different. Let me show it to you guys. So it looks like a gel kind of a consistency, and it is sort of clear. It also has a very strong fragrance. Okay, this reminds me of the car perfumes you used to have back in the day in your Maruti Esteem car. Like, you know, the fragrance that you keep in your car. What is that called? Yeah, it smells like that. Sort of like a very floral scent, a little bit overpowering, I'm not going to lie. So if you are strongly against fragrance and any kind of scent can trigger you, this is not the one for you, then you can just stick to Laneige. But if you want a very cheap alternative, you can definitely try this one out. It works a lot better and it's not as dry. And then for lips today, the Sugar Matte Attack Transfer Proof Lipstick, the shade Cranberries, is what I had on this side of my lips in the demo. I have a formula that is very similar and even similar in terms of price range. This is from the brand called, again, Daily Life Forever 52. This one is in the shade Bonica. Very, very similar shades, just that Sugar Cranberries is a little bit deeper and a little bit too beautiful. But I can see this formula not working for a lot of people who don't really like very matte lipsticks. This is a transfer proof lip formula, this one. So if you do want a really good option, you can try this one out. Again, has a really strong fragrance but doesn't linger for a long time. When you first apply it, you'll be like, what is this? It smells like, not sure, some sweet. It has that kind of a scent, but it doesn't linger for a long time. The formula is very similar to the Sugar one, where it is pretty matte, but it is more comfortable. But the shade again is quite similar, but I did have to mesh both the shades because it was having a little bit of a stark line. So I did apply Cranberries on both the sides, but you can try this formula out. Again, the price range is quite similar. If you were looking at it, you can try that out. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. I hope you guys get my point of making this video as well. This or that have really good products. It's just up to you what you want to choose and what you want to let go. So yeah, let me know if you guys like this video and want me to do more of this. I will be doing that, and also a full face of dupes video is coming up. I just have to gather a little bit more products. So let me know what other videos you'd like to watch if you enjoyed this video, and just comment whatever you feel like. Not negative, but whatever you feel like, and I will go through all of that. I probably will get some new ideas as well, so just let me know in the comment section down below. And while you're at it, give this video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.